We learn as children that discipline means we're getting in trouble for something, but really it's about training yourself to make that right choice and to ignore the easy choice. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is training. It's similar to the muscles in our body or our critical thinking skills. When we train our self-discipline, it becomes better for every aspect of our lives. Anything we encounter, we can now utilize that self-discipline. Similar to if you do a bunch of pull-ups, yes, you get better at pull-ups, but you also get better at climbing ladders, rock climbing, etc. Today I'm going to go over my top 5 ways to foster self-discipline. Just so you know, the last one I think is the most powerful. Tip number 1, have a vision for your life. So let me explain what I mean by that. A vision is made up of goals, and those goals are each made up of targets. So for example, if you're an author, a target might be, today I'm going to write 5,000 words. A goal would be, this month I want to write a total of 50,000 words. And so both of those things are bringing you toward a vision. What is that vision? In this example, the vision would be, I want to be a book writer. So these targets and goals are mapping to the greater vision. Your vision should be an overarching theme of the person you want to become. And then from there, you'll build goals that break that up, and then you'll build targets that are even smaller than that. You should always have a target that's just within reach so that you can always make progress toward your vision. That brings us to tip number 2. Remove the choices that you fail to make. Let me explain that. I'll use an example of something that I conquered recently, which was hitting the snooze button. So I would have my alarm in bed with me, and when it would go off, I had to make a decision. At that moment, I had to decide, am I going to get up or am I going to snooze my alarm? Well, that wasn't working out so great. I was snoozing, sometimes I would snooze 4 or 5 times before I would get out of bed. And it was really starting to frustrate me because there was all that wasted time. So I decided, I need to figure out a way to remove the opportunity to make the wrong choice here, because I was making the easy choice every single day. So what I did is I set a second alarm that was 3 minutes later that's sitting across the room. What that does is when my alarm goes off, I know that if I don't get up, a much louder alarm is going to go off and wake up the whole house 3 minutes later. So that has removed my opportunity to fail in that decision. Number 3 is forgive yourself and move forward. You have to recognize right at the start that you're going to fail. You're going to have small failures throughout the process. No one's perfect. Humans are fallible. It's going to happen. What you have to do is be ready for that and be ready to forgive yourself for failures. That doesn't mean that you accept failures or that you excuse them or that you become complacent. But when it happens, you have to understand that that's in the past, and now you get back on task and you refocus on your vision. Number 4, have dedicated blocks of time to work toward your vision. Don't let other things seep into your dedicated time, because then you're just losing your opportunity to pursue your vision. This ties into another point I want to make, which is to do your work before you respond to the world. So many people in today's society just let other people dictate their lives. So they wake up just in time to get to work, they spend all day doing whatever their boss tells them to do. They get home, eat dinner, and then they're watching TV. So they're just consuming something that someone else has created. And they do that until bedtime. So they never do anything that's really for them, that's chasing a vision for their life. They're just kind of letting life happen to them. So stop letting the world dictate your actions and start blocking out time to dedicate to your vision, to start making progress toward your goals and making incremental progress toward what you want your life to be. And that brings us to number 5, which I think is super powerful, and that is change your identity. What I mean by that is change the way you define yourself. So Tony Robbins has a little segment that he did where he says, people decide the kind of person they want to be. And so when someone comes to him and says, oh, well, I'm kind of a quiet person, then he says, oh, really? When did you decide that? Because that's what you're doing. You may not realize it, but everything about you, you've decided that's your identity. And it doesn't have to be. If your goal is to lose 100 pounds, then change your identity to a healthy person. Be a person that eats healthy food and exercises, and define yourself that way, starting today. So I've talked about this in other videos. Your identity drives everything you do. So if you're one of those people that wakes up right before you have to go to work, start telling yourself you're an early riser. Continually repeat that affirmation. Set your alarm clock outside the room and set it earlier than it used to be, and get up the first time it goes off. Compound that with the affirmations that you tell yourself you're an early riser, and before you know it, you will be. So that wraps up the 5 tips for conquering self-discipline. The question question for today is, what are some things that you do to improve your self-discipline? Put them in the comments below so that we can start a conversation. And make sure and hit that subscribe button so that you can get more videos like this daily. Thanks for watching and have a great day.